No.
How old are your kids?
I got a 10-year-old daughter and a 12-year-old son.
Oh, damn, you're in it.
Yeah,
I got a 5. He'll be 5 in February, and a 1-year-old.
Oh, that's adorable, man.
The best. 2 boys.
Dude, it's the best. Kids are the best, and we just got a pandemic puppy as well. I was never a dog person. Just got the dog, and
There you go.
a golden doodle.
Oh, those are.
She's adorable.
My brother
Love
has
those
one.
things.
Yeah.
Sleeps with them.
Do you have kids? You have dogs? I mean,
No dogs. I want dogs. My girl doesn't want dogs. She doesn't want dogs. Are a beast, man. She doesn't want the responsibility.
well, you know,
It's a lot.
I will tell you, once your kids are a little bit older, kids love them.
Love them.
And if you get like if you go and get, you know, you could do your research a little bit, see which ones are which. We got the golden doodle simply because she's hypoallergenic.
Yeah, they don't shed too.
They don't
right?
shed, and my
Yeah.
daughter had some allergies and stuff. So we're like, all right, you know what? Let's go ahead and do it.
A dog in the pandemic, though. It's probably the best time to do it because you don't have to leave it at home.
Well, that's
you're
what
with it 24/7.
Yeah, I was nervous, just like your lady is, that because I've never had a dog, and I was like, oh my god, I was just,
Ever?
we had a dog once for 2 days.
Yeah. Doesn't count.
No, because
Doesn't count.
Well, we come from an immigrant background.
Yeah.
So when I would tell my dad I want a dog, he didn't understand what that meant. And like, and the Iranian culture. Listen, a lot of immigrants don't like dogs aren't big in a lot of immigrant cultures.
Yeah.
Like in Iran, dogs are known to be like they say najes, which means like dirty. Like you're not supposed to. Like there's wild dogs
Like
running in the
street
streets.
dog, yeah.
Yeah. Of course, in the past 40 years, I'm sure it's changed a lot. But when I was a kid, that's how it was. And so when I would be like, I want a dog, my dad said, no. And then finally, when I don't know how old I was, but he went to his friend who had 2 dogs that had grown up together, and he's like, give me one of those dogs. This shows you the mentality of like
Let me have one of those.
the macho man
What?
immigrant mentality, where there's no like, let me do the research, find out if it's okay to separate a dog.
You got 2. Let me have one.
me have
for
one.
my son.
And the other guy's like, sure, take him. His dog came, bro. He was with us for 48 hours. He was the most depressed dog I've ever seen. He wanted to go home.
Get me out of here.
He
I wanted no part of it.
Dad, where'd you find this dog?
I was like, let's go for
He's
a
writing
walk.
in a journal.
So sad. Very emo dog.
He has an eyeliner on.
Yeah. He wore a black trench coat.
Weird, man.
Yeah, so that was that's all I had. And then so this time around, and my wife and kids were like looking at golden doodles, labradoodles, all that. And it's funny because like you just said, I kept saying, I was like, I don't know, guys, I don't know. Finally, we were sitting there one time and just in front of the TV, and she's all over the Instagram doodle pages, and she's like, hey, there's a dog available. Should we get her? And I was like, I don't know if it's the right time. And she's like, you always say it's not the right time. And then I was like, why are you asking me when you already know the answer? And we went and got her. And man, it's the sweetest thing in the world.
You love it.
I love this dog, man. She's so dope. I mean,
Are your kids in school?
my kids are doing the Zoom school.
Nothing worse. These poor kids.
I feel so bad for them, but I will tell you, they've been thriving under it. And that,
Really?
yeah,
God bless them, man.
both of my kids. First of all, they're in private schools that have done a great job of handling it.
I can't believe your private school's not open.
They're staying. You know, they go by all the guidelines and all that stuff. And I've run into friends of mine who are like, yeah, my kid's in public school, and the teacher shows up for 1 hour a week, and then I got to teach the rest of the week. I'm like, ugh. You know, it's
different.
Get what you pay for.
Get what you pay for. Yeah. No, but my kids have done a pretty good job. My daughter is constantly like, so we got a second floor upstairs. All I hear is like jumping up and down. She's constantly like doing dance contests and stuff.
Oh, TikTok?
And, just what I don't know what they do. She's just like, I just hear her. I'm like, our roof's gonna fall. Like I go, is she in a dance school? What's she doing?
Yeah.
And then my son is a big Dungeons and Dragons guy, so he's been running D&D stuff out of his
Damn.
room.
A little bit nerdy kid.
He's actually.
Let me call your son a nerd.
Definitely no.
I'm
No,
saying.
definitely.
I was like, you call him
He's not throwing a football around. You know what I'm saying?
wait,
He's always
no.
outside.
No. He's actually a really good athlete.
Yeah.
But
Chooses
be honest
Dungeons
with you,
and
yeah, I love. You don't even understand, dude. This hit me one time when I was doing shows at the San Jose Improv. Okay. And I'm walking around with my friends, and we go on the campus of San Jose State University, and they happen to have a robotics competition where these kids have built robots, and the whole game of the robot game is like there's a ball, and these guys with their robots, they're all nerdy. They're like got their robots, and the robots picking up the ball and running it and throwing it into the net, and these kids are, you know. And then we walk out, and we happen to overhear some conversations, and these kids are like high school kids, 16, 15, 16, and they're all like, yeah, I thought I thought the mechanism that we had going was quite appropriate right there. I think, and I overheard them, and I turned to my friends, I go, oh my God, Lord, let my kids be like these kids. Like they're not somewhere hanging out at 7-Eleven asking for some dude to be like, hey, can you buy me some beer?
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Which is the kind of shit we were doing.
Me too.
Yeah, I was all for it. So as much as like what you just said, both kids are somewhat, they're athletic, but I'm leaning into
No,
the
nerds
nerd.
run the world.
I'm leaning into that.
I want
bro.
that little Elon Musk. I want that little Jeff Bezos.
I want the kid that I don't have to, because you think about yourself. Like, it's a miracle that some of us, when you start talking to you about like your youth, it's a miracle that we're still here.
Nuts. But the world's different
Insane.
too, though.
World's different, but we did stupid shit. Like, we were like 16 years old. I remember there was a Volkswagen Fox, which is like a Jetta, but like a Jetta on a diet. It's like
Yeah.
super skinny,
The front's more narrow.
small.
Yeah.
Like you could probably pick up the
Yeah, it'd be
Volkswagen
great.
Fox.
This?
No, that's a newer one.
No, yeah, that one right there, right
The
there,
middle
yeah,
one,
that one
yeah.
right there, that one, the Fox. Yeah, that thing. You see how small?
Yeah.
So that's a 1990. That's about the car we had. My friend had that car, and look, and I think it was probably this one. It's like you got a 2-seat, 2-door, and then so I remember specifically 6 of us in that car, coming home from a party in in the backwoods of Marin County, where you go like to like Stinson Beach and Muir Beach and stuff.
Great
It's
area.
all windy roads,
Yeah.
2-lane, and I'm pretty sure the guy driving it had been drinking too.
Y'all speeding.
But we got the music blaring, and we're in the back. Woo, every turn, we're like, yeah, woo.
Living.
Stupid, stupid, and lucky to be here.
And you want your kid in his basement playing Dungeons and
I
Dragons.
want my kid being like, Dad, I got a Dungeons and Dragons.
Dad, come see this
And,
robot.
you don't even know, bro. I sometimes when he talks to me, I don't even know what he's talking about. He's like, I'm the DM. I go, DM, what's that? Like, you direct message someone? No, I'm a dungeon master. I will be.
You're loving it.
I'm like,
Is Dungeons and Dragons big again?
dude, it's
never
huge,
not been big.
bro.
Oh, it's back in a major
By
way?
the way, one of my neighbors down the street, and it's been announced. His name's Jonathan Goldstein. He and John Daly. They are the they wrote and directed Game Night and The New Vacation. These guys have done a lot of stuff.
I love those
Yeah.
movies.
They have written and will be directing a Dungeons and Dragons movie with Chris Pine.
Oh, wow.
Michelle Rodriguez.
Because there was one they did and it went really bad, right? They did a Dungeons
No,
and Dragons.
this is like a big. This one's a big deal. So it's coming up, and it's huge. And like guys like I'll tell you who's doing it is Vin Diesel plays Dungeons and Dragons.
We love Vin Diesel.
come on now.
We love Vin
our
Diesel.
boy who was Sofia Vergara's husband. What's his name again?
I know
Oh,
you're
Joe
talking about.
Joe Manganiello. Yeah.
No.
Who is that?
Manganiello.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a big D&D. I mean, these D&D is back. There he is, Manganiello. He's a great guy. It was actually interesting. He was on Colbert, and I'm a fan of Joe's, and I'm a fan of Stephen Colbert's, and I tried to watch it because I was like, oh, this is gonna be interesting. They started talking D&D. I had no idea what they were talking
Checked out.
about. There it is. Yeah, there it is.
Look at him.
Yeah,
He's a stud.
yeah,
I like him.
So all of that, there's it. Geeks out over Dungeons and Dragons. Yeah, so it's back. And as a father, and I don't know how you think, but as a father, I actually got, because my parents, again, being immigrant parents, they were like, I looked at you guys. I look at the Asian people over here. You know what I'm talking about, right?
That's a fair guess.
What's your background?
Vietnamese.
Vietnamese, what's your background?
Korea.
Okay, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah. Immigrant parents do not want comedian, right?
No.
They want lawyer, doctor, engineer.
100%.
We
Yep.
came all the way from another country. Get your ass over there, get your education. And I want to be able to say my son the doctor, my
Yes.
daughter the doctor. I want to be able to say
We
that.
talked about it many times on the show too.
Dude, so that's part of it, right? So they pushed me in such a direction. Now, Brendan, how old were you when you started doing stand-up?
What am I, 37? So I've been doing almost 6 years.
So 31. So you started even later than me. How old were you when you started?
I was 3 years ago.
Okay.
I was 27.
27. And how old?
23.
23, yeah. So I started 26.
And that's late, right?
And that's late.
Kinda
I
later,
I
yeah.
look at guys like I remember hearing Dane Cook talk about 17, Chappelle 14. right?
Yeah, it's insane.
And when I was 17, I wanted to do it. I was doing plays in my school. My teachers all said, "You're good at it." My teachers would. I used to do. I was doing a play. I think it was junior high school. My parents came to watch it. You know, these immigrant parents, they show up. They got the suit on. First of all, immigrant parents.
Suit.
Yeah,
He has in a
For a
3-piece
play.
suit, like,
they think it's a fucking Copacabana or something.
I'm the fourth lead in the middle school play,
Bro,
man.
They showed up in the suit, and then the director, like, you know, after the show, the director's being nice, and she talking to my parents. It's like, your son has the it factor.
He has
He could do this. And my parents, oh, thank you. We get in the car. My dad's like, that bitch is crazy.
So you get in the car.
You are not
Disregard everything
Dad's
you
just
said.
talking shit.
stupid. So I mean, I was like, oh my god. So I got sidetracked for a long time, and that's why it was 26 when I finally did it.
Yeah.
So because of that, with my kids, I tell them, guys, if you find a passion,
Run with it.
I'm with you 100%.
That's where I'm
So
at.
when I see this kid do D&D, I'm all
Run
about
with
it.
it. Yeah,
But I will
I'm
tell
the
you, the
same.
other day, I had that moment in my head where I was like, I gotta ask him. What's the end? I was like, buddy, can I just ask you a question about D&D? He's like, sure. I go, when you do D&D, like, is it exercising your creativity?
Yeah.
Is it kind of like just passing time? 'Cause in my mind, I'm hoping he goes, yeah, Dad, we create it. I go, okay. And he goes, they create the world. I go, all right, okay. So I'm thinking to myself, maybe he'll be like a what is it, R.R. Martin or J.R. Martin, the guy who wrote the Game of Thrones books.
George R.R.
George R.
Yeah.
I'm like, maybe he'll just maybe he'll write Game of Thrones or something.
Like Lord of the Rings.
Yeah. In my mind, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
That's like, that's a fucking, that's a long shot. But
It's tough. Yeah, with my kid Tiger, he'll be 5 in February because my fight background, sports background, so I'll watch fighting sports and I'll go, Dad, boom boom pow, and he'll always want to fight. I'm like, yeah, but you're not gonna do like I know you enjoy it with your dad, but you're not gonna do this.
Yeah.
Like kids don't grow up in this house and fight in the cage.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
That's not how it goes down.
it's an interesting journey we go through because, like you just said, you want your kid. I mean, that's all you want. You want your kid to just be passionate about whatever it is. And again, when you think about the kind of stuff you did, you worry about your kid because
Oh my God. But also you crawl, I don't mean to interrupt you, but also like I made some sacrifices and crawled through some shit and have CT. So you don't have to do this.
Absolutely. But if you choose to do it, then you're going to do it. You know what I'm saying?
There's nothing you can do. My
nothing
dad
you
didn't
can
want
do.
me to fight. My dad didn't want me to do stand up. If their heart is set on it, they're gonna do it and you better jump on for the ride.
And that's the beauty. If you're lucky enough to have a passion about
Yeah.
something, I always tell people, I go, you find that passion, go for it. Whatever that passion
Because
is.
that's when it gets tricky. If they don't have something they want to do, like a passion, that's where they get into drugs, join a gang.
Exactly. And it's a, I remind comedians we are very lucky to have found our passion.
Yes.
And so number one, if you can find your passion, you're part of the elite group of people in the world who know what they want to do.
Mm-hmm.
If you're able to make a living doing that passion, now you're
Oh,
like,
boy.
you
Yeah.
know, super elite.
Yeah.
You know, because, and then I run into people a lot of times who go, I don't know, like I'm stuck and I don't know what to do. And I go, okay, go back to what you used to do as a child. What did you used to do? You used to play baseball? Well, maybe you should go see if you can become a baseball coach for a little league team or
Yeah.
something. Find a way back into
Yeah.
that thing because I just feel we get lost in life. A lot of people get lost, you know?
Because bills, right?
Bills, and I think you pile it all on yourself because it's the being afraid of trying that thing.
So you do what's safe.
You do what's safe. So for me, for the longest time, I kept jabbing like the idea of I want to do the acting, I want to do the comedy, and my mom had put into me, you can go be a lawyer and then just do comedy on the side. So that was in the back of my mind. So I studied political science undergrad, thinking I'm gonna be a lawyer. Then my junior
NorCal?
what's that? At Berkeley, yeah,
Cal,
UC Berkeley.
okay.
Then my junior year, I went to Italy to study abroad, and there was a professor. I love what he was doing. I go, maybe I'll be a professor. And I go, that's a good compromise because that'll combine like standing in front of a crowd and speaking, but also my parents can, brag.
Check that box.
Yeah, it's a formidable job, right? And when I came back, my mom was freaking out. No, you got to be a lawyer. And I was like, what's up? I thought professors were pretty good. She's like, no, there's no money for professors. I'm like, what do you know? Yeah, my mom was like,
But also a good point.
but good point, right? And then she's like, you're going to be wearing those jackets with the elbow patch. That's not good.
Jackets is the elbow pad. Yeah.
It's not good.
It's not a good look.
So then
Mom sounds awesome.
So then when I got into a PhD program for poli sci, and when I dropped out of that was when I decided to go and pursue this because I had the fear always of trying it. Because I thought, well, how does one even make it in this world? I have no idea. So I was good at it, and I was doing plays on the side, and I was having fun, but I had a job to bring the money in because I didn't know how you're going to make money. And I remember talking to this guy. I was working in an advertising agency. That was my day job at that point. And this guy named Joe Ryan, he was in his 60s at the time. And he goes, hey, he saw me do a play. He goes, you're pretty funny. Have you thought about doing this? I go, yeah, I've been thinking about it. I'm going to wait to raise money, save up some money and then go for it. And he goes, listen, man, I'm in my 60s right now. And there were some things I wanted to do in my 20s and I never did it. Because if you really have a passion for it, you should go for it. And I was 26. That was a light bulb moment when I realized you live once. You got to live for you.
Do what you want to do.
You can't live for your parents. You can't live out of fear. So, what you guys were saying is like the people that don't go for their passions, I think a lot of times it's this fear that if they go for it, like they're going to throw away everything they have. They, the rent or the bills or whatever.
But I think too with stand up, like, and for your parents or even my parents, like it's like, oh, I want to do stand up, but there's no like clear path. Like if you want to be a professor or whatever, if you want to make it to the NFL or whatever you want to do in that space, there's always a path. If I want to make the NFL, I play Pop Warner, and then I go high school. If I'm good at that, then I get a scholarship, play college football, then I get drafted to the NFL. Pretty clear path.
Yeah.
Stand up, it's like everyone's path is different. It goes
Different.
here, I start here, I start this day, I start.
Yeah.
So there's like no blueprint for
But even that, like, let's go back to the football thing, right? So if I'm some guy who's, there was a movie made about the guy who was
Invisible.
Was that what it was? The Philadelphia Eagles kicker,
Mark
right?
Wahlberg.
Yeah, Mark Wahlberg.
Mark Wahlberg, right?
Papali.
Yeah, wasn't he like a teacher or something?
He was a teacher. Yeah, he was a teacher, and then they had open tryouts.
Yeah, so there you go. Now
He also ran a 4.40.
well, what I was going to say, it's not. Listen, by the way, it's not like you could be sitting there going like, "Oh, I'm 60 years old and I've been, a couch potato my whole life. I'm going to go, play quarterback for the whatever, the Saints."
Yeah.
But the fact is, if you have a passion that is something that, like, let's say you are 60 years old and you've been working as an accountant for the past 40 years, and it's just draining your soul, and your passion was football as a kid. Maybe you were pretty good. What's to stop you from saying, all right, you know what? On the weekends, I'm going to go help coach a team. I'm just going to, just to be out
Be in
there.
that world.
Yeah.
Just to put yourself around
you
it,
in it.
right? Not everyone's going to be a comedian that wants to be a comedian, but they can work as managers. They can work in the club.
Do
they
something.
They can do something. So I think that's part of it. I think people are afraid because they feel like,
They're afraid because the unknown. Because
And the unknown.
if someone comes to you and goes, hey, I want to do stand up, like, all right, dude, go to open mics.
Yeah.
Start there and try and build
Yeah.
a following.
Yeah.
Big unknown.
yeah.
I think you have to love the journey first.
Yeah, you got
You have to love the journey.
Well, a lot of people don't even know about. You got to love the journey. I think that one of the other things that guy said to me, Joe Ryan, it was all about like, can you live without this? You hear a lot of actors say that. Like I think Morgan Freeman or maybe it was Tom Hanks or somebody was like, if you want to get into acting, ask yourself, can I live without it? If you say yes, then live without it, because there's gonna be people who can't live.
Yeah,
without
you're
it.
not going to make it. How about when I got off stage at the Laugh Factory? Right away, you go, bro, I figured out what you look like. I'm like, what? This is in front of a bunch of other comics. I'm like, what? You're like, you look like a Rottweiler who got his shit together.
Oh, you do, bro. Yeah.
Come on, man.
I'm just saying, dude.
Grab that mic, son.
You do. Look, bro, look.